see, my mum and dad, they were legal immigrants from Ireland. Before I was born, they had been here, and they had to learn English very quick, and my dad took to it like a duck to water. So the language is peppered with very fine, true English statements like, "Hello, you fucking cunts." As famously warned on, "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here." Poor Ant and Dec, they did not know what was coming. Funny. I'm trying to get over. I've got an infection in my head, so if I jump about from one thing to another, that's all right. The antibiotics are not working. It's nothing to do with the brandy.
No, nothing.
I hope you liked the records we played before I came on.
Yeah.
That's a nice poppy selection of stuff that really was the influence behind punk. That's the stuff I grew up with, and I love and adore it. And it's really important, because a lot of fucking modern muso-journalists would have you believe that it all comes out of New York. Fuck off, liars. Slade, Sweet, T-Rex, Dave Bowie. From north of the border, we got Frankie Miller, we got the Alex Harvey Band. I mean, a lot of fucking variety came out of this country. And without that, there really wouldn't be a Sex Pistols. So God bless all of them folk.
God bless you. Thank God you saved us.
Would you like to finish the show for me? It's, I'm trying to find my way here, because honestly I've got a head full of mud, and it's really fucking hard. And I know you mean well, but when you interfere, I lose my train of thought, because I'm a bit muddled at the moment. I'm not usually this bad. Yes, I fucking am. All right, let's begin when I was born. No, let's not. Let's go back to fucking music. Alright? My mum and dad loved music. They bought records almost constantly. Alright? My first introduction to music was a dance set. That's a very old record player that would play 8 singles in a row. And I, from a very early age, was allowed to be the DJ. And that's how I really got into music, was stacking the records that they would buy. And that was a terrific collection of early ska, going into reggae, rock and roll, of course the mod stuff, and all the modern pop stuff at that time. Really incredibly varied was Mum and Dad. You know, I mean, I've got to say, they turned me on to the Kinks with You Really Got Me. What a great fucking record for a 3-year-old to be hearing. It really fucking was, right? That's proper roots. Lest we forget. It's important, because that's how I grew up. Was absolutely thrilled with music. I loved rock and roll. When they'd take us at the weekends to the seaside towns, because the old tannoy systems from World War II were still blaring out, and everything played on them was cackly, like radio announcers at railway stations in them days. Really filthy distortion. But that thrilled me as a kid. I loved that. My first set of speakers I ever bought were tannoys. A very fine British manufacturer, by the way. Loved them. God, the music. Cliff Richards was in there earlier. Come on, pretty baby, let's move it and a groove it. I think one of the finest rock and roll records ever made. And just it's a sheer pleasure to sit there again tonight and hear it. Very important record when I was young. Because my mum and dad, they loved that, and they took me to see my first ever concert. It was Cliff Richards live. I couldn't have been 4, but I remember it. Not because of Cliff Richards, because he was a microdot about 2 miles away. It was at Finsbury Park Astoria, and we were up in the balcony. They had no PA systems then, 2 little rattle boxes. But the screaming of the girls! Fucking hell, you are hyenas and a half when you get together like that. And on my tender little ears, that was the most awful sound I ever heard. Wah! For a fucking hour. Could have used you like in World War II. You should have been the frontline shock troops. Very impressed though, with the auditory senses of it all. And I suppose that gave me like a double bug of energy into liking this music stuff very, very, very much. And its potential for communication and how, yes folks, words do count, but they don't count half as much without the power of a proper fucking band. Well, they do actually. Loved it. See, you have to prompt me now, because I'm going off in bits, and this is what happens, right, with memories. And, well, I've had a tough year, no doubts about it, but, well, thank God for bedside tissues. Yes, I have a tissue issue. Well, I'm alone now, and what do you expect? I'm not one for the crybaby. I've done that, right? So just get over that, right? Because one of the fun things about doing these shows is meeting people beforehand. By God, I've got nothing to complain about looking at half of you lot. You know? God bless you. And I'm glad you find me a pole in which to dance around. That's fun with the electric wheelchair mob. My heart out to you, right? So don't ever think I'm standing here wallowing in self-pity, because I'm not. It's something that my mum and dad would never, ever have allowed in me. And you should never have that yourself, because when you feel sorry for yourself, you're arming your fucking enemies, and don't forget it. Don't do that. Right? Enjoy life to the absolute fucking final second and fight for every bit of it. Right? Unlike HMS Hood, this ship is not for fucking sinking. See, I told you I'm going to have problems with this schnozzle. Did you catch that? It glistened. I had a Gary Glitter moment. Oh yeah, but my brain's there quickly. I've got to say, like, I don't know if we played it tonight. No, Gary Glitter, you know. Do you want to be in my gang? What a pity, right? Because some nights the audience don't grasp it, right? And you think, oh, can't enjoy that because he's a child molester. Well, think before he was, and what he was then, and what he meant to us as kids. That stuff was fucking excellent to hear in the nightclub. And absolutely improved our lives.
Yeah.
Alright? So, you know, the man's got bad in him, but if you want any chance of curing that, you have to know all about him, not just the nasty bits that the Sun newspaper like to bring up. Gary Glitter did a wonderful thing for me, not mostly me, my mum, and I will love him forever for it. I won't forgive him for his crimes, but I will love that side of his personality. Because my mum loved 2 bands that I liked when I was young. One was Alice Cooper. Yeah, Killer was her favourite album. Love It to Death, not so much. Well, because she had cancer at the time, and that wasn't a very cheerful fucking thing. But the other was Gary Glitter. So I took her to see Gary Glitter at the Finsbury Park Astoria. where I seen my first Cliff Richards gig, and she fucking loved it, and he was excellent as an entertainer. Man, could he move in that Baker foil outfit. Why did you interfere? I want to embarrass you now. I'm talking about my mummy, you know, I'm having a private moment. So please, can you flow with me and not against? It's important, because my mum was dying of cancer. She kind of knew it, but didn't want to face it. We all knew it, definitely didn't want to face it. So I took her to this concert, and somehow or the other, because I never told anyone, Gary Glitter's people found out that she had cancer, and they came out just towards the end of the show and invited us backstage. Well, they invited Mrs. Rotten backstage, would I mind accompanying her? And it was the most fucking super thing for my mum. Right? She just couldn't believe that. So we went back. And I was playing fucking difficult punk rocker. I won't be impressed, but I was. The generosity was over-fucking-whelming to my mum, and it absolutely cheered her up no end. He was so kind and brilliant to her that she had the time of her life. Because not only that backstage, right, you know, we told him we don't drink champagne. Fucking soon learned how to. He goes, let me drive you to a nightclub I'm going to. It was Tramps. Yeah. That was a club. There I was, saucy Johnny Rotten. I was banned from that place without even bothering to breathe. But in we go. He drives us there in a stretched limo Rolls Royce with a sunroof. It's not bad in the fucking winter, but we get there, we go in, and my mum had the time of her life. It was fucking lovely, the music, like just everything about it worked out great. And then she spots over in the corner Georgie Best, the world's best footballer ever. Yeah, all right, you lot. Don't hate him because he played for Manure. I once watched Georgie Best beat Arsenal 3-1 and the rest of the team didn't even show up. That's how good Georgie Best was. He was fucking excellent. But my mum spots him and goes, it's Georgie Best. And Mr. Glitter spots this and he runs over and pulls Georgie Best over, who sat there next to my mum for 45 minutes to an hour, trading stories about Ireland, and made my mum feel so fucking good. So thank you, Mr. Gary Glitter. Lucky me, my mum kept them distracted, because Gary would have certainly fancied my lovely body. So in future, if you don't want to be molested, bring your mum. But there are really bad molesters out there, aren't there? Right? I mean, they all are, but some are absolutely fucking worse. Rolf Harris, that deceitful tiny kangaroo down stuff. Don't be a fucking kangaroo. Jimmy Savile. Oh, hello, Jimmy. Is that a Tottenham Hotspurs outfit? What a piece of work. I get banned for decades from the BBC. They won't play my music, they won't touch me. I'm written off and threatened to be sued for daring to raise the issue that is a fucking problem to children. There's two amazing things about this, and I feel sorry for you Tottenham Hotspur supporters. That's a tough one. You know, look, it's a cock on a ball. Giving the game away, innit? But seriously, look at it. The way he's pinching his fucking hot pants. How can you not know that that's a fucking dangerous fella? Huh? Seriously. Right? And notice too, there are no children on the streets. That's fucking rare in the 60s for a photo, I'll tell you. You know? I know. Right? Everything about them was gangs of kids running around, half of them with no shoes on. But you put Jimmy Savile on the street corner, cleared in minutes. Because we all knew. But nobody wanted to listen to us because we're just kids. But apparently he had a penchant for dead bodies too. Yeah, morgue raider. That's lots of my Yorkshire friends have told me about that in great detail, and one last night really surprised me. Apparently, he even shagged his own mother's dead body. Apparently. Do you want to believe it or not? I think that fucker is vile enough to say, yeah, proof positive. So fuck you BBC, and all you fucking judgmental cats. Being banned from them bad-minded bastards was a fucking privilege, and I still hate them to. He knows that this was like that for them too, so he wrote on it, warning, warm piss rusts springs. Yes, it fucking does. In them early years, all the mattresses had iron springs in them. And those things would rust very, very quickly if any kind of steam or condensation got on them. Well, what do you think 2 adults and 3 kids pulling in one pot will amount to? A fucking big rust. And then a stabbing from a spring. In the middle of the night, often you'd hear boing, 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 boing. That was a good sound. It meant no one got stabbed. I'll let you guess what stabbing sounded like. But that's it. And oftentimes, gotta tell you, when I was young, my poor little bottom would fall in. That would be a real mess to clean up without an indoor bath. Here's my white privilege for you. Stoke's finest in pottery. Thank you. Now what the fuck was I going on about? School! Yes, first day of school. Ha The head mistress, a bitch fucking from hell, nun, called Sister Milus. With the S missing, you know, because she's a fucking snake and never smiled in her life. Hated us. Hated all little boys in particular. The girls kind of got off lighter. I wasn't lucky in any way, shape or form with her. Because the first question was after the command of sit down, as gentle as that, would be, can anybody write their name? Then put it on the paper, and I'll come round and collect. I not only wrote my name, I wrote fucking War and Peace from a 5-year-old's point of view. The address, everything about me. I was so chuffed and proud. Right, it's got to be. Is this you? Hold out your hand. I'm going to get Cadbury's flake. Or Smarties, or a gift, you know. No. She pulled out a ruler, the sharp edge of it, and proceeded to slap the shit out of my tiny little hand until I couldn't move my fingers anymore. Left-handed is a sign of the devil. We must whip the evil out of you until you learn to write with your right hand. That's my introduction to religion. Now you understand. When I write a song called Religion, every fucking word about those evil cunts I mean. These brides of Dracula. These nuns, these vicious fucking hounds from hell. Oh, it makes Christopher Lee so happy. Every vampire should have a bundle of them around. So evil, so fucking nasty, so spiteful and vindictive and hateful. Just nothing you could do would be good enough for these punks. And I use that Anglo-Saxon word very proudly. So I had to sit in the back of the class, didn't I, from there on in, facing the wall until I learned to write with my right hand. How do you tell a 5-year-old a thing like that? That everything they've grown up with, their entire nature and their honesty is there, and that's suddenly fucking evil? Huh? Again, das ist Religion. Bitches. Look, of course I wasn't going to learn to write with my right hand. I didn't have no fucking idea of that concept. But believe me, even at 5, I knew what my right hand was for. Tissue issues. And it wasn't funny. So 2 years I spent like that, just staring at the walls. I'd bring in books and just get on with it, basically, read and do whatever I wanted. But utterly negated from any kind of experience with other kids, because I had the mark of the devil upon me. So, of course, other kids would like, you know, Satan worshipper, and all of these chants that would go on. But the most wicked of all was, oh well, I don't even want to go there, it's so fucking wicked. But no school friends, right? For 2 years, wasn't allowed to speak. If they ever did speak to me, they'd get fucking hammered too. So I understood that. It's a powerful thing to grow up. At that age, you realise, well, if they hate you that much, you can't be too fucking bad. The legend of Johnny Rotten began very early. The only real memory I had of really joy, actually, was out of the schoolyard. It was freezing. The uniforms we had to wear, very short shorts, ankle socks, right, sandals, and this would be the winter outfit. You weren't allowed to wear long pants. So all of us kids were freezing to fucking death, basically. But at least some of them could run around because, you know, they had the concepts of friends and playing games with each other. Me, I just looked for this crevice between two walls of the church. Yes, it's the church-run school, this, if you call it school. And I'd be in that corner because it would protect me from the wind. You know, on your average November, bitter, twisted cold. Usually epics of snow falling down just to brighten the day for you. And I had a terrible stomach cramp. Unbelievable pain. And then, what I thought was a little fart turned into a vegetable korma. First introduction to a curry, and it came out the wrong end very quick. It filled my pants, I couldn't stop it, and then it ran down out of my shorts, down the back of my legs, into my ankle socks, and then out and through the sandals, through the gaps in the toes. And it was the warmest thing I've ever felt. And I kind of liked it. And I stood like that for a bit too long because with the cold, I ended up stuck to the brick wall. And playtime over, out comes the nun, because they only use the ruler in class. Out in the exercise yard, it was a fucking cane. And they love to whip your little legs with that thing. And in the bitter cold, that was really spiteful and harsh. And so the whipping began. Get down, move on, you dirty boy. Blah, blah, blah. Never noticed that I'd had an accident. And then a dinner lady spots this and she comes running over, grabs the cane and basically rescued me. I ran in and she rang a doctor and she rang the police. And I was rescued for the first time, I could say, and the only time in my long history with the police where they did me a fucking favour. So, thank you religion for that. Right? I don't have any other memories of being in that school. Right? Except at 7, I ended up in meningitis. That weren't no fun. That's an illness where the fluid in your spinal column seeps into your brain and gives you intense headaches. And they do recur. Every now and again those headaches come back. And feelings of complete fatigue, you have no energy, you're exhausted mentally, and you cannot explain it. And then the hallucinations, and I'd be seeing vile dragons that at the end of the bed that wanted to claw me to death with these incredible incisors. And the other thing which is so weird is that I also knew there was another part inside my brain that was looking down at me, going through this agony and saying, it's not real. But I couldn't stop myself screaming. It's the strangest thing. It's been like that now all my life, that I'm looking down at myself, almost like I'm separate from me. So thank you, meningitis, for that, because it gave me an insight. You know, I'm not always in control of what the human aspect of me does, but there must be something like a spirit there going, more brandy, you cunt. Slipped into coma, rushed to hospital, woke up something like 3 months later from that. They didn't pull the plug on you in them days because they didn't have any electrical equipment to tie you up to. So they just waited till your heart stopped and then down to the morgue, and if you're really unlucky, Jimmy Savile would wait. Woke up, didn't know who I was. Had no fucking clue. Had no idea. There was nothing I could relate to. All my memories of everything was erased. All I knew was that I couldn't move anything except my eyelids. And I was in a warm place, but I couldn't move. And nobody knew me, and I didn't know anybody. And I prayed they didn't notice me, because I felt I'd have been thrown out, and then what would happen to me? So that's how I came back into the world again. What do they call that, those fucking idiot Christians? Born again? Well, fuck off, it ain't no pleasure. 4 years it took for me to fully recover who I was. But during that first 8 months in hospital, because they never really are, these people would come to the end of the bed and he wanted to touch my toes under the blankets, and it frightened the living daylights out of me. And it had that epic memory of dragons and claws. That was my mum and dad. I'd forgotten my own mum and dad. And that, you'd never forget that. That will stay with me for the rest of my life. I forgot my own mum and dad. How beautiful of them to have not forgotten me, and not allow me to be institutionalised. But the cunt sent me back to school. But of course the torture carried on. Dummy dum dum, there was the chant. Well, I was feeling a bit stronger about it, because my mum had arranged that I'd ignore school completely, and so to re-educate myself, my mum brought me back to reading and writing slowly, but the local library was the place, and I have a love for libraries ever since, and books. They are so vital and important. A written word is not always a lie, you know, just the religious kind. Wonderful. They brought me back to art, they brought me back to reading, to writing, to finding myself. So the British library system, the things they want to fuck about with, don't fuck about with that. Right? Because you're going to raise really stupid kids otherwise. Well, I'm 68, I still don't know how to use a cell phone. Achievement. Secondary school weren't much fucking better. Because of course the school report carries on, you know. I was apparently a moron and difficult to deal with, a problematic child. No, I was a sickly child, you fucking cunts. They could have, like, in some weird way offered some help or encouraged me. And well, maybe even noticed the fact that every exam I sat down to take, I passed with an A. I mean, you would have thought that meant something. No, left-handed. See? They'd rather fucking, like, screw you on some biblical misinterpretation. Because I don't see anywhere in the Bible where it, like, tells you not to use your left hand, do you? Well, no, of course not. You wouldn't be reading it. So I could be right. But I'm not. I'm left fucking handed. Alright? Secondary school. Well, that was a joke. Like I said, just flew through it, ignoring them. But then they threw me out because I asked too many questions. My favourite class was a man called Pistane's Prentice. He was a dapper kind of a fella, and he had this peculiarity of clothing. He always wore the same suit, and it was a Prince of Wales check, but with a very short jacket. Like they used to call them bum freezers, the mods, but baggy pants. So it was, I suppose, like James Cagney, you know. You know, like the Yankee Doodle Dandy kind of look. And he'd have a trilby and a dicky bow on, so very peculiar. Thank God I never found out how peculiar. But he was a brilliant teacher, absolutely fucking excellent, and language and literature became my favourite subjects. You know, and to learn that poetry wasn't just a sissy bunch of nonsense. It was a beautiful way of describing things in the most subtlest and delicate ways, or, my style, like a sledgehammer. Fantastic. I like poetic beats, rhythmics, sonorous rhythms, all of these things which paid him later to write those gloriously complicated Sex Pistols songs. Because they fucking well are if you think about it. Expelled for that remark. Fucking cunt. So then I went to work on the building site and I loved it. Oh, fucking hell. Proper man's wages, right? Proper wages. And I bought every record I always wanted. You know, much in the vein of my mum and dad, I became an avid record collector. I fucking built myself a sound system that absolutely blew the neighbours away. They were cunts, and further expanded my wonderful love of music, and could save up enough to continue my education, which I did. So I bought my education from there on in. Again, white privilege, huh? Wonderful though. Because all that set me up knowing, look, if the system's out to fuck you over, or the system's indifferent, it's still fucking you over. And this isn't a sorry woe is me tale here tonight. This is something many of you fucking know is the truth and the reality of it all. Do we feel privileged? Well, you should do. I'm here, cunts. Audacity. So, yes, with all of that, it was only kind of correct and righteous in a weird way that an I Hate Pink Floyd t-shirt, my own design, well, I bought a Pink Floyd t-shirt. I mean, isn't that a fucking accolade? The fact that I wrote I hate on top of it. Well, Mr. Mason of Pink Floyd commended me on that. He thought that was very inspirational. He did. He did, and years later, this is the truth. Pink Floyd were playing in LA, and he rang me up, and he asked would I do some of the vocals on Dark Side of the Moon live. I ran for the fucking hills. I know that's pushing it too far. But I wish now, looking back at it, I wish I did. But in a weird way, do you understand how I felt kind of nervous about that? You know, insecure, really. Which brings me to another insecure story. Once in a cab, me and Nora, I'm going to see my brother in Tottenham. To get there, you have to go through Knightsbridge. Knightsbridge has a store called Harrods on it, frequented by millionaires and Arabs. Very nice products come out of there. And some fucking vile footballers go in and out of there. And anyway, we're stuck in the traffic. And I hear John screaming at the top of their voices, a man and a woman. And I'm looking around and Nora spots them. She goes, "Oh my God, it's Paul and Linda McCartney." Straight at us. So I locked the door and I bent down and pretended not to be there. I couldn't cope with it. You know, I mean, that's my inherent shyness, right? I'm kind of accolading that that's a major person in music. But I hated so many Beatles records. It was, oh my God. I mean, that's the man that ruined my guitar. And Jet, that line. Oh my God, Linda McCartney. Fucking lock that donkey up, huh? Her vegetarian curries that found out to have pork fat dripping in them. Lovely stuff. So maybe I was right. But years later I met him, and he came over, and we had a laugh about it. He understood, and so we became all right with each other. And in a weird way, if I didn't behave as I would do instinctively, we might not be friends all these years later. Funny that, isn't it? You know, always look on the bright side, because there might not be one. Where was I? Well, that was two asides. Yeah, Pistols, yes. I had Pink Floyd, that got them intrigued. Bernie Rhodes is the one that spotted me. He went on to become manager of the Clash. And we're still mates, Bernie and me. Even though he is a fucking communist. Now, you can flog that communist shit to middle class fucking students, but when you've been brought up working class, that's a fucking no-no to me. I ain't no one's fucking slave to be put in different boxes. Fuck off, someone's got to clean the trash and it ain't gonna be me. They do, they look down on us as fucking slaves and their imperious fucking political bullshit. Well, enough of that. Because let's face it, Bernie Rhodes went from Marxist communist to multi-billionaire manager very quickly. Wow, how his politics shifted. What do you think? Where was I? Yeah, got me into a rehearsal of sorts, which was first meeting there in a pub. And they were all being incredibly fucking sarcastic. Typical Steve Jones, ignorant fucking pig that he is. You're rotten, you are. But, great, that's my nickname then, Rotten. What's yours, Tubberlard? So he ended ended up with no nickname, just Duke Jones, because really you can't get more insultingly dumb than that, can you? Back to the shop, they had on the jukebox I'm 18, my Alice Cooper and a couple of other things, and asked me to sing along with them, because these were songs I knew. But that was the first time I'd made any effort to sing in, I don't know, since whenever, never. Because let's go back to our school, shall we? Catholic schools. What's the first thing you do not do in a Catholic school? Is sing in tune. Because if you do, you're put straight into the choir, and then you have to deal with the priests. And we all know what the priests were about. Which reminds me, yes, as a little kid, fucking deliberately like, Maria, fucking set me up lovely years later though. But how vile it is to be threatened with the choir. Not only are the nuns a fucking terror, but the priests on top. Now, you're this height, right? You're 5 and 6 years old, and they're all up here leering down at you. And they go, come closer. What do you think you're fucking smelling at that point? Seepage from nuns. Odor Brussels sprouts. Hot steaming puddings full of them. They never wash their lettuces, I can tell you. There is no sanitary napkins going up there. There is this odoriferous fucking sewer stink of melon juices. And of course the priests always had the white stains. Yes, seepage is a word that I've always connected with religion. No, it's the truth. Contempt or love or whatever in there for me. The song by the lovely Mark Bolan and T-Rex is Telegram Sam. fucking stuff when I was young. Right, pleasant little ditties like that. Right. That's the sweets. Aren't they fucking adorable? And to be told years later, you are fucking putting up with me. And just remember this. I truly will never fucking lie to you. It is not going to happen. So peace and love, my friends. And I would like to leave you with a record which I think fully encompasses family values, British style. Now you might like to sing along karaoke style. It's called Anarchy in the UK.